Austin Brown pulled out of the Bulls exec search. And if you ask a lot of Bulls fans, they have panicked about this. And I'm going to tell you guys why there's nothing really to panic about. He actually may have saved the Chicago Bulls from themselves. We're also looking at Darren Peterson, who officially declared for the draft. And would he actually be the best fit for the Chicago Bulls if they land the number 1 overall pick? We're going to talk about all that. Let's dive into the mailbag right after this. What's going on, Bulls fans? Welcome to another episode of Chicago Bulls Central, your number 1 spot for everything Chicago Bulls related. I'm the host, Darren Hayes, but more importantly, you guys can follow the channel at Bulls Central Pod on every social media platform we happen to be on. With that said, let's go ahead and get into this content for today, y'all. So we're going to start off with this one. Yesterday it was announced that Austin Brown withdrew from the Chicago Bulls consideration for their president, exec role, whatever you want to call it. Keep in mind, he was the only one on that list that wasn't currently with the NBA front office. He's the co-head of agency CAA. He has some of the biggest name clients in the game, including Cooper Flagg and I think AJ DeBonsta now. So when I see the reaction from Bulls fans on this of, oh my God, see, nobody wants this job. He already pulled out. He didn't even interview. That just shows nobody really wants this Bulls job. You know, the typical responses and reactions that you get from some of the more, negative Bulls fans in regards to that. And I'll say this, you got to keep in mind, the agent to front office thing hasn't always been a universal success. You can look at Bob Myers, but then again, Bob Myers inherited a team that already had Steph and Clay. He made some really good decisions over the years. But then when it came time to actually starting over and kind of building anew, the whole 2-timeline approach, Bob Myers had as many misses as he had early hits in a lot of ways. I still do think Bob Myers is going to get another NBA job, but you look at that. Leon Rose has been kind of a mixed bag with the New York Knicks. Not to say that he's been bad, but kind of a mixed bag. And Rob Pelinka, if it wasn't for Rob being with the Lakers, how much would he actually have, right? You got to think about it. LeBron came not because Rob Pelinka did some amazing recruitment, but because it was the Lakers, right? So what if that have looked like? The Luka thing, it happened, but that was more so Nico Harrison than Rob Pelinka doing something crazy. It seemed like Rob Pelinka was even caught off guard by it, right? So there's a mixed bag there. But I think we got to look at it specifically with Austin Brown is that this guy is the co-head of one of the biggest agencies. He has a lot of power, less than he would have as the GM. And yeah, that's part of the reason why the Bulls wanted him is the relationships and stuff like that. But I think you got to remember, he even turned down the job. Reportedly it was offered it, before AK got it. So it just seems like he is comfortable with where he is. If you were running something and don't overlook it, a lot of this stuff is money-wise, right? And when you're an agent, not to say that your job's easy, because I don't believe that at all. You have your own level of discomfort, right? But when you have a star level player, it gets easier. You come to as a GM, you got to start from the ground up. It's not like you're transitioning the same skills over one for one. Yeah, you use some of those same ones, but you use it in a little bit of a different way, right? So, just seeing some of the reactions to it, I think if anybody, even when that release was there, Austin Brown's name was thrown in more towards the end. Oh yeah, they have these 5 candidates they're going to interview, and they plan to sit down with Austin Brown too. So, ultimately, I think it's more so Austin Brown has shown he's fine and comfortable where he is, and there's nothing wrong with that. He is running a successful business that he has more longevity and control into with that, and he has a clientele base that wouldn't necessarily be that easy to get back into if you don't work out as an NBA exec. So. No, and the Bulls aren't the first ones to bring up Austin Brown's name. He may eventually become an NBA exec somewhere, but it seems like right now his challenge is, and that he's, still living in and having fun doing, is being an agent. I think that's just the reality of it. And honestly, I think this, in the saving Chicago from themselves part, I think at this point where the Bulls are, they're going to need somebody who has navigated these waters specifically before, right? As far as being an NBA front office exec, already having some of those relationships, understanding how to build out a scouting department, or some of these guys being part of a scouting department, understanding just that role, which is a little bit different than being an agent. And that's just the way that I look at it. I didn't think it was some huge statement on who or what the Chicago Bulls are or what the job has looked like. I just didn't take it that way. But listen, and I'll say this, with where we are as a fan base and as an organization, I can't blame anybody who does see things with the Bulls and immediately goes to, here goes the Bulls bulling again. Here goes the Bulls back on their BS. See, they can't even get X, Y. I can't even blame anybody who has that mindset because look at what we've dealt with for the last few years. So this isn't to come at you guys or anything like that, those who did have that reaction, just to kind of add a different perspective to it. I know initially when you see stuff like that, your first thing is to be like, oh, here goes the Reinsdorfs. But I think overall now it's kind of deeper than that, right? So overall, I don't think it's anything that much to do about nothing in the grand scheme of things, but we keep getting closer and closer to that draft combine, which is very important. And we'll see if we get our exec in there between now and then. But with that said, I wanted to flip the conversation. Last time when AJ DeBonsa officially declared, we talked about AJ and why he may be the best prospect for the Chicago Bulls if they have the number 1 overall pick. He's definitely my favorite prospect for the Chicago Bulls. That's not to say that he doesn't have his problems. He doesn't have things that he needs to overcome as a player. All these guys do, right? But Darren Peterson officially declared for the NBA draft yesterday. For those that don't know, Darren Peterson, your 6'6", 205-pound guard out of Kansas. He was a freshman. This guy, when you look at what he brings as far as potential to this game, it's ridiculous. He's a do-it-all guard in projected wise, as far as have the ability to defense, an actual two-way player. His shot profile is amazingly crazy, right? When you look at how he's already a legitimate 3-level scorer, he can create separation off the dribble. He has really advanced handle moves. He understands how to punish defenders and set up himself in the mid-range as well with the pull-ups and the pull-up shots he's able to hit in mid-range, as well as his ability from 3, and he can get to the rim also when it comes down to it. He has a level of maturity that you don't usually see from a player this young with this well-rounded of the game. He understands how to use his size to be competitive over screens on both sides of the ball. He is a do-it-all guard that checks every single box. And when you look at kind of being a fit that looks more seamless next to Josh Giddey, it seems like that, because not only can Darren Peterson be on ball, off ball, he does all those type of things. He is an amazing shot creator. He knows how to create a shot for himself all the way down to the mid-range, to the three-point line and in the mid-range. And he has the ability to read defenses that is so advanced for players of his age. You add that with the physical build that he has, an NBA ready-made body, but he is going to have to, of course, refine and add some muscle over that. Also, the playmaking ability. He understands how to create for others and already how to use the gravity that he has as a scorer to get open shots for other people. You don't always see that as early on, right? Especially for people who have been scorers their whole life. You don't see usually that ability of them to understand the gravity part of it. He understands that very well. He's a really good rebounder for a guard. Also, the length, the instincts, the competitiveness, the switchability on defense, can guard 3 positions, 1, 2, and some 3s in the league. That's what's projected for him. All those type of things make Darren Peterson, and that's why people are talking about him in the ilk that they are. He is a player with so much raw potential that it's hard not to believe that the sky is going to be the limit for a player like him. Right now, as with every player, there are always going to be some concerns. Some of those concerns being his shot selection. But he's been a scorer the majority of his life, and he's used to being bigger and stronger and all those type of things. So sometimes he can have a habit of falling in love with bad shots, but he still makes some of them. So take that for what you will, right? The consistency from 3-point range, I would like to be a little bit better, but he's going to do that. He's already shown steady growth in that area, even throughout his freshman year in college. So there's going to be a thing when it comes down to it. On the defensive side, he can be over-aggressive, and meaning that he can get caught in some stupid fouls sometimes. He gets frustrated at times. And I'm not saying that, listen, I love fiery. So it is what it is. You got to take the good with the bad. There's no player that's perfect in the world. None, right? So, you got to take some good with the bad. But overall, just looking at Peterson and what he's shaping up to be in this as a basketball player in the NBA, there's just no doubt about it that he has. Now, the question becomes about, if you have the number 1 overall pick and him and AJ are both on the board, where would you go with it? That's the biggest question here, right? And I'd say this. I'm not mad at either one. I think AJ is a pick to where you kind of have to, and not to say you don't have to adapt to if you draft De'Aaron Fox, but I think it changes the way you build more, whereas De'Aaron Fox instantly comes in, is your number 1 option, and it doesn't really change much of the build that you already have here on this team, which if you're looking for pieces, like you look at Noah Essengay as a big, he fit off Darren Peterson, especially with Peterson's playmaking ability and ability to get Get a guy like Noah Essengay Lobs. I think Darren Peterson and Modest Buzelis at the 2 and the 3. If you move Modest to that, I think that works out really well for you also. So there's a lot of things that I think with this, it just makes sense, right? So it may be the more seamless fit as far as you get them, you keep it pushing, you keep your build going the way that you were going, and you're going to be in a pretty good spot. So that's just my personal opinion on Darren Peterson. I think that he is a damn good player. He's one of the most complete players that you're going to find at this age, at the style of the draft. Size, the polish, the two-way versatility. He has every tool in the bank if you want him to be a legitimate franchise level player. He has every single bit of that. You cannot take away from that. The way that he can be that level of prospect right away, that's more than worth completely changing whatever's going on with your team if you need to change that. So that's what you're looking for. Over 20 points per game, 43% shooting from the field last season. As a freshman, Darren Peterson has every tool in the shed. He was also a 38% three-point shooter. And keep in mind, I said three-point consistency sometimes can be one of his issues, and he still shot 38% on the season. Everything that you want. 1.5 steals per game that he averages as well. 4 rebounds, 1.6 assists, 1.6 steals. I want the assist to turnover ratio to be better, more towards leaning towards the assists, but everything that you have. So the question here, if you have the number 1 overall pick, is Darren Peterson the guy that you would go after? Let me know what you guys think on that down below. With that said, let's go ahead and get into the voicemails that we have for today. We got 4 voicemails we're bringing to you. This one's from Todd.
Yo, Hayes, what's good, brother? It's Todd, man. Giving you a shout. Hope all is well. Well, I'm sure all is well considering everything that's been happening with our Bulls. Look, man, I wanted to catch up and talk about a thought that I've been having and almost am scared to share, but I will. I want us to bring back Zach LaVine. Yeah, I said it. It's crazy. I know, but not as much as you might think or others that are hearing this. You probably already know where I'm going. But the thought is the Kings. The Kings are in a desperate situation right now. They are facing a luxury tax crunch. And obviously we know LaVine has a $49 million player option for this next season, which he obviously is going to exercise. So the Kings need to get clear of that because it's not only about paying him, but it's also getting under that first apron and resetting their finances for a rebuild that's coming with this new draft pick that they have. Obviously, they got rid of De'Aaron Fox and got LaVine from us. But in that De'Aaron Fox trade, they got a bunch of draft capital. So here's what I'm thinking. We have more money. We have $82 million in cap space, of which we have to use, I forgot what you told us, but we have to use a significant portion of that. There's no way we'll be able to do that. So we need to buy essentially a bad contract. Why not Zach LaVine? And also being that the Kings are going to be bad for the next several years and they own all their draft picks and have that plethora of other picks from the De'Aaron Fox trade, we should be able to accumulate draft capital by buying back LaVine. So essentially, we're buying draft picks. I hope that the new regime is smart enough to understand that. But what do you think about that thought of bringing LaVine back to essentially buy draft picks? I would love to hear your thoughts on it. All right, man. We'll talk soon. Later.
So we have $62 million beneath, in cap space, right? We're 100 and something beneath the first tax apron. Here's the thing, though, right? I don't hate the idea of taking on bad money to get draft picks. And we've talked about that, I think, on the last episode. But I don't think the Kings are going to be willing to do that as much as you let on. Yes, the Kings are over the luxury tax, but only by $1 million. So they can trade off a different player and do that, right? I also think the Kings in the spot that they are, where they know they're going towards a rebuild, are going to covet every first-round pick that they have. They also have Sabonis. That is a huge trade chip for them that they can actually get assets back for rather than having to send out assets to get a player to take on Zach LaVine's contract. I think the Kings are going to be in for a very long rebuild. I think they understand that because they're going to have to draft their star. They always have, or trade a player while they're young like they did with Tyrese Halliburton and get Sabonis. They're going to have to do that type of stuff. So I don't think that they're going to be as apt, as you point out, to at least trade a premium pick or a decent pick to send off Zach LaVine when in the summer of 2027, they're projected to be $100 million beneath the first tax apron, whereas the $1 million over for next season. So I don't think they're going to be out to send out capital in the way that you think that they may be. Not to say that they won't do it for, maybe a lesser degree, but you're not getting a whole lot back for that. I don't think so, because I think they'd be willing to take another kind of gap year this season while they try to find probably trade targets for, Zach and Sabonis and maybe some other players on that roster. I think that's maybe what you're going to be. So I don't know if it works out the most seamless way in the way that you laid out, but hey, we'll see. All right, let's get into this next one, man. This one's from Sean.
What up, Hayes? I know you haven't reached into your draft bag yet, but I was just sitting here thinking, and I was thinking about if the Bulls went Ade Mara at number 9, I kind of like Isaiah Evans out of Duke, but let me know what you think. All right, have a good one. See Red Bulls Nation. Peace.
I wouldn't hate Isaiah Evans at number 15. I just would. Now, that's as you said, if you go guard earlier, right? So you're looking at Evans if you go guard earlier in the draft. And, here's the thing. You're looking at Evans later in the draft if you go big earlier in the draft. Let me say what I need to say. He's drawn pro comps to like Brandon Ingram, Rip Hamilton, has legit size, right? And an elite a perimeter shooter already. Absolutely an elite as a perimeter shooter. He is in that category already coming into the league. Elite three-point shooter, has legit length. When you look at kind of the modern 3-and-D game, he has all of that you look for in that guard-forward combo. He is only 180 pounds, so he's going to have to definitely put on some weight when it comes down to it. But the range that he has as a shooter right away, he's a disruptor defensively. He understands how to use his length. He has active hands. He can create fast breaks, all those type of things. He also has a really good quick release. But that physical strength is going to hold him back a little bit. And that's probably why you're seeing him fall the way that he is. He also has an inconsistent streak on defense sometimes also, and he doesn't really have an explosive first step, which, with the way that he shoots and how teams are going to have to guard him in space, I think he's going to be overall fine there. He's a confident player, which it comes down to it. So I wouldn't hate Isaiah Evans. I think that he wouldn't be a bad option for the Bulls at that pick at 15 if you go big early. So no, I think that's a good call out, man. Very good name to pull out there. Let's see if the Bulls go after him. All right, let's get into this next one, man. This one's from my boy Vikram.
What's up, Hayes? It's Vikram. So Billy Donovan's gone. I don't have that many thoughts on it. I'm just wondering, is Modest gonna shoot mid ranges next year? Hope he does. But other than that, I don't really care who we hire as a coach or GM. We don't know anything about these guys. I guess a coach, what if we go and get Jim Boylan again? That would be really stupid. But other than that, how much thoughts could we really have on it? Just don't get a shitty coach. Let's get someone young. I know people have been talking about the Florida coach, the Duke coach. I don't think they're gonna. Maybe the Florida coach leaves, but I don't see the Duke coach leaving. Maybe he does, but I don't know. But other than that, I kind of want to talk about Hans Steinbach. I think at 9, that's actually a great prospect for us. I think the way he plays as a big man is just so fluid for today's game. He's not a great rim protector, but he's switchable because he's mobile on his feet. He's quicker, and he can attack the rim very well on offense. And he has a nice looking jumper, and so I think he can eventually stretch the floor. I know he takes a lot of free throws, makes them at a good rate, so I like the upside on the shot. And the rebounding part of it is the best thing I think about him. I think he can get us so many more offensive boards with we have Giddey, who's a great rebounder as well as a point guard. That could really help us create second chance points, which just makes your team better in general. So I think that's a really strong thing about his game. I know his weaknesses right now, the shot is not great from 3, but I think there's a lot of promise with his free throw rate and free throw percentage. I like the form as well. And then he's not a great rim protector, but because he's switchable, he has some good instincts. He gets in the passing lanes a little bit. He's kind of handsy so he can get a couple steals here and there. So he's very versatile, and I think that's kind of where the league is going, especially in the playoffs. It's all about switching nowadays, and not playing drop coverage because the center dropping back, we've seen in a couple series, like it's slowly getting worse for down the stretch. I don't know, but not Thomas Haas, the Hans Steinbach dude. He's, I think, a great guy with all-star potential because he has the offensive side and a little bit of the defensive side, and the rebounding is great. Passing, maybe not so.
Listen, I like Hans as a prospect for sure, right? I like how he projects. I think he just brings that game. I do worry about the foot speed sometimes for him in that he is a guy that's probably going to have to play a lot of drop coverage at the NBA. No, not saying he's a Vooch level guy at all. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying he probably is going to, play some drop coverage in time and not be as switchable. But he's big, strong, has that legit size. And I think definitely can help some people out, especially Chicago Bulls. I don't know if he's my favorite to go to the Bulls in that area because it's either he's selected to go late lottery. So it either feel like a bit of a reach, at number 13, at number 9, or if he falls to number 15, I still like players like Kareem Lopez and Chris Nick Jr. a little bit more overall. But hey, I wouldn't hate the Steinbach pick. I just don't know if it would be the best one for the Bulls overall. But hey, at the end of the day, all these guys are all about potential and prospect. Let's see what they can bring. Now let's get into the last voicemail for today, man. This one is from JB.
Hey, Brother Hayes, this is JB from Evanston. Haven't called in a while, but I listen every day. And, man, you're outstanding in your analysis and takes on Bulls basketball. So anyway, I'll be brief as I can. Anyway, I'm wondering, with the 15th pick, now if we pick the 9th pick, if we go for the best available player, and when we get to 15, regardless of position, if there's a player there that just really wows you, just really is just a great talent, do you just disregard going for the big and go for that and just go for the talent at 15 also? That's something I'm kind of divided about, to be honest with you. The other thing is, I've been looking at highlights of Henri Veesaar, I believe is his name, from North Carolina. I see a skill level there, a skill set that is really, really good. And like any Bulls fan, I've been really hungry for rim protection and a big for so long. But I'm wondering, is Henri Veesaar, is 15 too high to take him? Because the mocks that I see have him taken in the second round. So what is your take on Henri Veesaar from North Carolina? Have a great day, and always appreciate the great info that you give us every single day, brother. Take care.
I wouldn't hate taking best player available at both draft spots. I wouldn't hate that at all. I still think you don't want to create too much crowdedness, right? Because you want these guys to have an opportunity to play and who they are going to, turn into, who they're going to turn into and project. But I wouldn't hate taking best player available at both spots. But the way that the board looks like it's going to fall is that it may fall in the sense that best player available at 9 is guard anyway, and the best player available at 15 is a big. Could very well work out that way, and I don't think that that's necessarily a bad thing. As far as Henri Veesaar, though, taking him at 15 would be too much of a reach. He's slated to go about the first 8 to 10 picks in the second round, but luckily that's in the range that the Bulls are in the second round. So I don't think they have to reach on a Henri Veesaar. If that's who they want to draft, he's probably going to be there at number 38 with their second round pick, which could be some good depth. Like at the end of the day, even if he ends up just being a bench big, I think that if you get that in the second round, it's pretty good value. So I wouldn't be mad at that at all. So, but that's going to do it for today's episode, man. I want to thank you guys for tuning in, as you guys have all the time. This is where things are starting to get very, very interesting for the Bulls. Can't wait till the draft combine so we can know exactly where this Bulls team is going to be picking. If the Bulls land a top 4 pick and Darren Peterson is on the board, are you taking him? Let me know that down below. Drop your thoughts in the comment section down below. Make sure you guys like the video, subscribe to the channel as well. Hit that notification bell so you never miss an episode. You can follow us at Bulls Central Pod on every social media platform. You send us any feedback, questions, comments, concerns, bullcentralpod@gmail.com. And lastly, if you want to leave a text message and our voicemail for the mailbag, the number to do so, 773-270-2799. We are the number 1 spot for everything Chicago Bulls related, but that is thanks to you, lovely and beautiful people. And like I like to end every episode on, go Bulls. Love you guys. See you right if you can, y'all. Peace.
This has been a presentation of the Breaks Media.